Hello, tubers. How are you today? Well, today I wanted to go over another passage in the Bible. Uh, this one is going to be in Second Timothy, chapter 3, and it's verses, let me see here, 3 to about 7 or 8. Anyway, it goes like this. But mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. Have nothing to do with such people. There are the kind who worm their way into homes and gain control over gullible women who are loaded down with sins and are swayed by all kinds of evil desires, always learning but never able to come to a knowledge of the truth. Okay, let's go over this particular passage. And I think what I'm trying to get across in this particular passage is that how society has changed over the last, well, depending how old you are. For me, it's changed quite a bit. And now that I'm in my 50s, I compare it from, say, the 70s until now. And the one good thing about being older is you can compare. You can compare, decades with other decades, as opposed to being 22 years old, and you really can't compare much because there's nothing to compare to. So, what is this, basically this passage talk about? It's talking about the last days, and there will be terrible times in the last days when you have people that are lovers of money, boastful, proud, unholy, ungrateful, slanderous, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. And you can see this trend day after day, month after month, year after year, this trend of just of this gaining of the degradation of the society, how we become less we and more me. Um, we tend to point fingers now. Uh, we tend to not take responsibility of our own actions. We want the government to help us as opposed to us rolling up our sleeves and making a life for ourselves. Um, it's just you can watch it on TV, even people around the neighborhood. Even years ago when I grew up, I lived in a neighborhood, and people were worried about one of each other. We were worried about the kids, and the parents were, we had multiple parents. It just wasn't our parents; it was the parents of our friends as a kid and growing up, and there was a sense of community. And we didn't have we there were different nationalities, but it was more like a melting pot as opposed to a salad bowl. So we all kind of grew up with each other, and we appreciated each other. We complained and like a family. But now, today, uh, geez, you're lucky if you get a hello from your neighbor. And most of the times when your neighbor is knocking on your door, it's usually about a complaint. It's not, bearing gifts. So these are things that are going on in our society, which makes of a unhappy society. I mean, one thing is to have income and doing well financially, but if where you live you're not happy because your neighbors are not neighborly, and you really don't have any friends to share your life with, and have a loved one, and then what's the sense of it? The one thing I did want to pull up also, because in this particular passage they talk about many times about boastful, proud, um, conceited. I mean, these are basically the same words being repeated. And so this particular passage really talks about pride in yourself, being ungrateful. So there was another passage here in Luke 14, chapter 11, where it says, "For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted." So let's all try to be more humble. Let's stop talking and boasting, and being show-offs, and you know, that so many people are quick to talk and boast about themselves and wear jewelry and all these things, uh, and really, it's all just trying to get attention. And Jesus walked on this earth, and he was very humble. So let's all try to become more like Jesus and less boastful, and God will promise. Well, God promises that He will exalt you, because if you exalt yourself, you will be humbled, and if you're humble, you'll be exalted. So choose the latter. Let's take the high road, and then you'll be exalted and you'll live a better life. And if everybody did that, the society would change, and things would be much better for everyone. Okay, everybody, thank you for listening to me. If any comments or questions, leave them below, and please subscribe. And as always, God bless.